1% sales tax for the school system. Coming down the pipe is a proposed 10-year penny tax for regional transportation projects. Do you support one or both of these plans? And as a second question, Canton officials have made some tough cuts to maintain the budget without a millage increase. Are there more creative ways to make cuts, and or are there creative ways to bring in other revenue for the city? We'll start with Mr. Stoker, please.
As far as the 1 cent sales tax, I do support those. I feel like a 1 cent or 2 cent sales tax is fair because it treats everybody equally. As far as what the money's spent on, I would definitely want to review that very closely, but I would support the 1 cent sales tax. Obviously, we need roads. They are the lifeblood of transportation. So if you're going to grow, you have to have the roadway. And as far as the schools, our children, I've got a 7th grader. They are our future. So we definitely need to spend as much as we can on education.
Excuse me, are we talking about both SPLOSTs, or are we talking about education?
I'm just asking in general, both the SPLOSTs.
Because you mentioned the ballot, and it's only education.
The ballot only has the education SPLOST.
Correct.
And down the pipe is the consideration of the 10-year transportation SPLOST. So I'm just SPLOST in general, and we're kind of talking taxes as a whole. Okay. And if there's a more creative way to bring in revenue for the city, or creative ways to look at that situation.
You notice how I changed the question after I answered.
Mr. Graham, please.
I believe when it comes to our budget, we have to look at all options on the table. I don't think it's about one of these things, but a combination of all of those that really is going to make a difference. We still can, I think, find room for further cuts in our budget. I think we always can, and I'm not in favor of increasing the millage rate. The SPLOST, I mean, I support education. My understanding is we have a choice of the SPLOST or an increase in property taxes. So I agree with Mr. Stoker that the 1 cent for one may be the most fair way of going about it, and wish we had a little clearer understanding about exactly how these funds would be spent. But I think there are much more creative solutions that we need to look at. We need to kind of grow our tax base. We need to look at public-private partnerships to fund some projects that will attract other businesses and residents to our city. And I think one of our biggest opportunities is to grow our tax base by attracting new businesses to the city in the Bluffs and in Technology Park and in other areas of the city and in downtown as well. So I think it's a combination of all those things that's going to make a big difference, and we have to review all very strategically.
Thank you very much. Mr. Griffin.
Who was that?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Griffin.
I believe that the 1% tax should be something that the voters decide on. I really don't have an idea on that for what we all should do. It's a personal decision. But as far as being able to find areas that we can cut and help our city instead of raising taxes, I'm definitely for that. We recently did that. I'm very proud of every one of the council and the mayor. We were forced to look at something, either raise the millage rate or find some cuts in the budget, and we found those cuts. And not every city did that, so I'm really, really proud of that. There are other cuts that can be made. There are lots of different things that we need to look at, and I'm sure we will approach those in the near future.
Thank you very much. Ms. Rose.
Okay, I think the SPLOST is something that we really should look at, because if this is passed, this will benefit the cities. There's a lot we can do with that. As far as the 1%, I have my opinion, but I don't think I need to try to influence anyone else on that, because that's your own decision.
Thank you. Mr. Cummings?
On the education SPLOST,
I am in favor of it because the education of our children is our city's future. Relative to the 1% at the state level on transportation, I have initially a couple of, and I won't say I wouldn't change my mind, but initially I have a couple of things that I don't like. Number one, I don't like a tax that's 10 years in duration, because that will limit our ability as a county to have come forward in 5 years from now with a different SPLOST on something we need more locally. And that's the second objection I have to it, is I don't like distant taxes, and by distant taxes, that is taxes that we have no control over the distribution of the revenues that are generated by it, but we end up paying for it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Tanner.
You know, the good thing about democracy is that the people are given the opportunity to vote. And when it comes to the 1% sales tax, we all are given the opportunity to vote yay or nay. And it's left up to the citizens. The citizens will decide whether or not they want the educational SPLOST or the regional transportation SPLOST. And I think that is the way it should be. As a member of the City Council, we continue to look at ways and avenues as to generate funds for our city. That is something that we have done for the past 8 years, and it's something we'll do for the next 4 years with me being on the council, is to look very objectively at ways that we can cut our budget, maintain our budget, or be it through millage rate or revenue neutral budgeting. But options are out there, and I'm able and willing to consider any option that we can that is in the best interest of our city and our citizens. Sometimes as council members, we have to make hard choices, and that's what you elected us for, is to make those hard choices.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Mr. Ruffin.
Yes, SPLOST seems to be a term now that's used very loosely, and it's becoming a way of life. And I think it's a way of a government continuing to grow and grow and grow. This could get us into trouble down the line. It's because we talk about educational, then we talk about transportation, then we talk about a general. It starts to mount up. Now, with that said, I did not see a lot of things in the education SPLOST that I was really excited about. Our school system has done a fantastic job of building up what we've got now. They're in the top of the states. So we're doing well. We got to continue to pay off what we said we were going to do, but we can't just continue to do SPLOST. It just mounts up. But as Ms. Tanner said, that is not for me to decide. I'll make my own vote on that. It's up to the community, the citizens, to make that determination. Am I for education? Absolutely. But our education system, if you look where it was 10 years ago and where it is today, they've done a heck of a job.
Thank you very much.